What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Lean Likes and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great betting content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. I had to make up a little bit of time there. Because producer's Jacob, his time is valuable here in these streets. And, well, he doesn't want to hear me muck up the intro anymore. But, friends, you know that this exists, right? That when you tweet at me and you message me, that I can not only see them, but I can screenshot it. I can do that. I click both sides of the button and I can screenshot it, and I have your message of you telling me to off myself, me effing myself up, all these mean things when the Twins are down 4-0, and I have it for the rest of my life. Isn't that so great? Thank you so much for all your lovely messages. The Twins are currently up 7-6. Hopefully they can get it done for us, but I can't wait. Oh, friends, you're going to want to tune into X at Eric Lindquist tomorrow. We're going to have some fun. The X-Men or something. I don't know. Anyway, Caesar Sportsbook, they are our lovely sponsor here. You bet $50, you get $250 right now. That's $50 bonus bets that you're going to be getting one instantly, and then for consecutive Mondays. So that'll be week 1, 2, 3, in addition to the week before that Thursday night game. So NFL season could be awfully nice for a start here for you over at Caesar Sportsbook. Again, $50 turning into 5 $50 bonus bets. Seems like a no-brainer to me. Seems like a great opportunity for you to jump into the Caesar Sportsbook streets. So just check it out, if you will. Only if you're 21 and over, though. And if you have a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. I really am excited for tomorrow. Hey, maybe the Twins lose this game. I don't know. But when you're down 4-0, you never know. Anyway, yesterday was the day of money lines. It was the day of backing teams outright. This seems to be the day of totals that I don't agree with here early on. Of course, those are going to change throughout the day. So check out Lindy's Locks update. If there's anything that you want to know about, hit me up at Twitter/X at Eric Lindquist. Just my name. Don't worry about it. You can hit me up there in a nice way. If you ask me a question, I'll try to give you an answer if I see it. I promise you I respond to everything that I see. But producer Jacob, he puts into the bar that's over on this side everything that he sees that I send to him, and there's no good segue there. Producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. Our day begins here in Philadelphia, which I think is a lovely city. I was just kidding on every video that I've ever done. They're going to be facing the Los Angeles Angels here. Shohei Ohtani, yes, he has no UCL attached to his elbow, but that's not going to stop him from hitting, so that's an interesting sidebar. But it's Tyler Anderson going up against Michael Lorenzen. And since Michael Lorenzen's no-hitter, which was kind of inexplicable and defies everything that I know about baseball, other than, fluke lucky things happen from time to time and you have to put them in the rear view because there's a billion baseball games a year. Other than that, Michael Lorenzen has been bad his last two, giving up 6 and 4 earned against Washington and San Francisco. And now he's facing an Angels team that is confident with bats, even with Mike Trout on the IL. And yes, helps for them to have Shohei Ohtani continuing to do that batting thing. Probably doesn't help them that they screwed up. They messed up. They decided to keep Ohtani when they could have gotten rid of him, got some really nice stuff, and then turned this season into a rebuild. And then regardless of what happens, I guess they didn't want to take the risk of him falling in love with the city. Ooh. And I know it feels like a lot of people have changed their opinions on it. There were times where I'm like, you know what? Maybe they should just keep Ohtani. But then it always came back to, did this Angels team look like they could win right now? And the answer is no. And a lot of that comes down to pitching, not just in the bullpen, but starters too. Tyler Anderson, again, Mr. Anderson, does a good job of limiting hard contact, 32.1%. And there are some neutralized lefties. Kyle Schwarber, not as good against lefties. Bryce Harper, he's good all the time. Brandon Marsh, not as good against lefties. Probably won't even be in the lineup, nor will Jake K. But Trey Turner, starting to play more like Trey Turner. Alec Bohm, Nick Castellanos, JT Realmuto. They're still Philadelphia bats. You don't want to, it's like Uptown Funk ain't nothing to F with or something. Or what am I thinking of? It's a song. Uptown Funk ain't nothing. No, that's not it. Whatever. While I'm looking for it, let's try to look for a play here because I don't really have anything at the moment. I do think I would be taking a shot on the Angels. Michael Lorenzen has been so bad here of late. He has that 40.2% hard hit percentage, and it's Wu-Tang Clan. Of course it was. It was always Wu-Tang Clan. Ain't nothing to F with. I am a failure. Los Angeles money line. Luckily, this is a lean, and most people are just going to skip this game entirely, so that's cool. So disappointed in myself. But interesting little situation we have here with the Yankees. Although I don't think I'm going to be firing anything in terms of outrights or totals here. We're talking Yankees Tigers in Detroit here for another round of fun. Michael King starting. I say that again because it's a little bit surprising to just see Michael King, who we know being an opener. That's an interesting thing, but Michael King is a good reliever. They're just like going out and giving him work to start off this game. I mean, the Yankees aren't going anywhere, so it doesn't matter. Brandon Lau also put them on blast the other day. I don't think you want to do that to the Yankees because they'll just hit you with a couple of fastballs for fun. That's something that the unwritten rules of baseball, which are the dumbest things of all time, just throwing it out there. But the Detroit Tigers on the other side of this, Tariq Skubal, I think you know by now, I do like Tariq Skubal quite a bit. He is kind of my dude. Yeah, he's definitely kind of my dude. The strikeout stuff continuing to be there in a very prominent way, 28.2%, has a 253 xWOBA and a 308 expected slugging, and yet gives up a 43.2% hard hit percentage. And there's one guy in this lineup, not Aaron Judge, because the numbers will probably be too short, but against any lefty, he always ends up at the top of my model, mainly because, well, he's done this his entire career, and you generally get a number that looks bad, looks terrible, looks like you shouldn't bet it in any way, shape, or form. And yet, because you got Giancarlo Stanton with these ridiculous numbers, a 428 x ISO with an 18.6 degree average launch angle against lefties on the season. Yeah, he was hurt for most of it. And yes, Tariq Skubal has been incredible against righties this season, less than 100 x ISO, only a 103 actual ISO, but that kind of exists on both sides of this one. And he does strike out righties at a higher clip. But still, that's because the lefties who are generally in a lineup against him are good and avoid strikeouts, and they're the better hitters because otherwise they wouldn't be in there. Does that make sense? Cool. Good talk. Glad we had it. Giancarlo Stanton, if it's better than plus 270, hold. Plus 278. What a weird number. I have it so it rounds into fives, but apparently that didn't happen. It's got to be better than that in Detroit, which is not a great home run park by any means. But Giancarlo Stanton, you give me over a 400 x ISO against a handedness, probably a good spot to be investing if we get the right price. Speaking of the right price, I think there's one here for us with the total. We got the Tampa Bay Rays and the Miami Marlins going at it. And it's Sandy Alcantara. I've been backing him quite a bit here of late. And some of you have said, oh, well, he's been bad all season long. I still was okay with the last couple outings, the San Diego outing, the Dodgers outing. We only went 1-for-1 in them, but they were big plus money dogs to the Dodgers in that instance. He goes 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned, 6 Ks, 11 ground balls to 5 fly balls. That's really what it comes down to. Only 96 pitches there, but got the win. Miami won big 11-3. And then he goes to San Diego, 6 2/3, gave up the 4 runs, but again, 10 ground balls to 8 fly balls. When that ground ball rate starts to get back to what it should be for a guy like Sandy Alcantara, and he's pitching at home in a great pitcher-friendly ballpark, feel pretty good about his opportunities to succeed even against a Tampa Bay team that has a 119 WRC plus against right-handed pitching on the season. On the other side, friends, Aaron Savale, he's been very much improved this season from his Cleveland side. Actually, he was pretty decent in Cleveland last year, but really taking a jump here in a Tampa Bay uniform. Also getting it's not even necessarily a park upgrade for him. It's basically a 1-for-1 swap into Miami, another good pitcher's park. He has a 34.4% hard hit percentage. However, there are some Miami bats that scare me a little bit here. Jorge Soler, Jake Berger, but they're primarily righties, and Aaron Savale been pretty darn good against them this season. So I'm finding myself interested in the 7.5, and this is one of 2 totals that it's just like, whoa, they're a little bit jarring. I know a lot of you don't love seeing 7.5. You want to bet hits, you want to bet runs, you want to bet all the home runs that I talk about here on this program, but I'm here to win money. And the under of 7.5 looks really, really good to me here in this spot. Plus, just like a lot of totals on this one, there's at least that one lopsided number, DraftKings. It's only 2 cents, but it's minus 108 as I am playing it right now. Only a half unit here, the under of 7.5. Yay. The White Sox, the Orioles. We begin our 7 p.m. Eastern time window of games in Baltimore. It's a lot more fun to back Baltimore when they're like dogs on the road. They would win. Minus 220, minus 235, minus 240. Those are the numbers that I am looking at on my screen. And those numbers, friends, are not what you want. With Dean Kramer on the mound, going up against Jesse Schultens, who actually, there's actually some decent stuff here with Schultens. And I kind of went back and forth. I fought with myself. Not that I would ever do that. I'm not a person who thinks. I think way too much. And also our mortality is really something that's inevitable. And it really gets after me from time to time. You ever get those moments of aloneness you feel? I feel that sometimes in this room of mine. It becomes a sanctuary, a little bit of a shelter. And yet I get nervous about what's the end look like. I know about as much about dying as what the Pope does. And Jesse Schultens, though, is on the mound here. 35.8% hard hit percentage. Does have just a 16.8% K rate. But we've seen some stuff from him of late. The four-seamer slider curve. Primarily 3 pitches. He has a changeup he barely ever throws here, but he's 6'4", big dude, up there throwing not really gas. Gas isn't the right way of saying it because he really doesn't do that. But he's got really good hard hit numbers, even with a low fastball spin numbers. So yeah, his fastball velocity is below average, but I'm finding some decent stuff with it, even though it's not spinning, and I don't know why that is. Why does he have a 25 point? No, it's 15% whip percentage. That's better. I was looking at it wrong. I'm a dum-dum. Too much sadness in my heart. Because I want to bet Baltimore. Not because of mortality. We're done with that. But because Baltimore. -1.5. It's -105. And it's Dean Kramer, guys. We don't want to be backing Dean Kramer at these kind of numbers. This is kind of a tough thing. Again, Grayson Rodriguez would have been an easier ask, so I'm definitely not going to be going to Kramer with a 43% hard hit percentage, 349 xWOBA, and just a 21.3% K rate, even though there's not really a lot of lefties that hurt your feelings here in this White Sox lineup. Same thing I talked about from yesterday. So, yeah, different verse, same as the first. Betting this number is a whole lot worse. Pass. Baltimore, -1.5. Don't bet anything here. I don't know how this became a play or why this is a play or what. Oh, yeah, it's Jose Berrios. That's why. Mackenzie Gore on the mound going up against our old friend, Jose Berrios. And I say old friend because we really haven't attacked him in the same way in the year of our Lord 2023 that we did in the year of our Lord 2022, which was a very profitable one going up against Sir Jose. Overrated pitcher, no doubt about it. And this is kind of where I'm getting at with this. -192. If this were a year ago, pre-Jose Berrios meltdown, this money line would have been -225, -230. I don't think anybody would bat an eye. Generally, you could say that about a lot of pitchers every single year. So I don't mean to extrapolate the data. But what I'm getting at is that Washington, number one, we know they don't strike out against righties in just any way, shape, or form. Over the course of this season, second best in baseball at avoiding strikeouts, 19.2% K rate, albeit with just an 89 WRC plus and a 133 ISO. But two, Mackenzie Gore has some strikeout stuff, and you kind of needed to gate the fact that Toronto doesn't strike out against southpaws or just really anybody with this fact. Now, Brandon Belt will obviously not be in the 2-hole. It's just not a thing that they're going to do here, left on left in any capacity. So that's sad. But an 18.9% K rate, that just assumes that we get Bo Bichette in this lineup, who's not going to necessarily be in this lineup. Got dinged up. I think they need to be very cautious with him coming down to the end of the year because this race is going to go bonkers. AL East started highlighted. AL West started highlighted. AL Central, terrible. The division of sadness and broken dreams. But we got Mr. Mackenzie Gore here. I think we can back him when we're getting a run head start. A 44.3% hard hit percentage, not great. 465 expected slugging, not great either. But a 26.8% K rate, and assuming Bichette is not there, I do think Washington +1.5 is one of my favorite plays on the day. We only have one lock. This is not it. This is a like. But the only reason is because I do respect Toronto's offense regardless, especially from the right-handed side of things. Springer, Vlad Guerrero, they're kind of good still. And Washington, I'm looking at this lineup. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. But Washington +1.5, that's good enough for me. Also good enough for me, this incredible sports promotion we have going. It is bet $50 to get $250 over at Caesars. If you have not yet signed up, this is your opportunity to not just get $50 of a bonus bet back or $100 back of a bonus bet to double your first deposit or something. but five $50 bonus bets put into your account over the course of the next few weeks. Here's how it works. If you go to the link below, you sign up at Caesars Sportsbook, and you put $50 on anything. It could be college football. We got action coming back in our lives. We have week 1 college football action, week 0 last week. Hopefully you were tailing Ben Raza. That guy's pretty good at the old betting college football thing. But we have so many tools here at OddsShopper to help you be successful in college football and then in the NFL starting up next Thursday. Then why wouldn't you take advantage of this promo now? And hey, if you want to tail a couple of baseball plays with those bets, sure. But you sign up at the link below, bet $50 on anything, and when you do, you'll immediately get a $50 bonus bet added to your account, as well as a $50 bonus bet that shows up in the next subsequent Mondays. Yes, so next Monday, $50. The Monday after that, so for week 1, $50. Week 2, $50. Week 3, $50. That is $250 of bonus bets at your disposal. So, friends, check out Caesars Sportsbook at that link below, only for 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, y'all, back to the picks. Daddy needs a new bicycle, so he's going to bet something here because I think this is another near lock for me. And it just has to do with the attached number to it. It's Houston, it's Boston, it's JP France against Brian Bayo. And if you've watched my program in the past covering Brian Bayo, I think he has a superpower. It's not ideal that he has a 44% hard hit percentage and a 19.5% K rate, but his superpower is a ground ball rate, 55.5%. He throws a sinker a lot to everyone, 37% usage of that thing. He attaches it to a pretty good four-seamer changeup that, is obviously going to those lefties. And that changeup, especially when you have Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, please find the zone, bro. You got to also get by Yanner Diaz, who I also bring up all the time. Reverse splits, has all of his homers and all of his power against righties, which is so weird to me. Every single time I look at that, it's jarring. But yeah, JP France is terrible. So Houston, they've got a couple of holes in this starting rotation. And I don't know, where did Lance McCullers go? Well, they got Justin Verlander back, so that's cheating. But JP France, 37.9% hard hit percentage and 7.1% walk rate. That's the nice stuff. 330 xWOBA, 264 expected batting average, and a massive amount of lefties on this Boston lineup that could create some problems. And why could they create some problems, friends? Well, they're good. They're good. Even though JP France extreme reverse splits, 238 expected ISO against righties, against lefties, 102 expected ISO. Pretty wild to see, but because of the quality of these lefties and because of Duvall, because of Justin Turner, because of Trevor Story, those are three pretty powerful righties sitting out there for a guy with a crazy over 200 X ISO. Boston money line, come on. Daddy needs a new bicycle. The Mets, the Rangers, I really hate this game. 8.5 total in this, and a line I really don't want to deal with. I do kind of. Andrew Heaney's a pitcher that I don't hate because the strikeout stuff can pan out from time to time. And Jose Quintana, I would say he's had a pretty decent year. Probably, oh God, this is weird to say, the highlight outside of Kadai Senga, because they don't have Max Scherzer anymore. They don't have Justin Verlander anymore. Elias Diaz died in the beginning of this season with his knee going bye-bye, celebrating at the World Baseball Classic, which is the last thing you want to see when you've spent infinity dollars on a World Series ring you're trying to buy. Steve Cohen, sorry, bro, that's not how this works. But Jose Quintana, a sub 5% barrel percentage is awesome. A 33.3% hard hit percentage attached to it, awesome. We need to find some strikeouts in 2024, that's for sure, but a 17.3% rate for that, 269 expected batting average, neither of those are exactly ideal. So not my favorite back here, even at this kind of a price, plus 108. And Andrew Heaney, boom bust option, 334 xWOBA, 440 expected slugging. But why would we take boom bust into account when they're the favorites? Why? No, we don't do those things. We twiddle our thumbs. We find better spots on a 15-game slate. We wait for the NFL to start. And somebody's at my garage. No, that's the weird thing. I'm not gonna, it's like Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal with the garage? We don't have time for that shit. Under 8.5, just going to be a lean for me because I do like the profile of these pitchers, and the Mets aren't all that scary, but Don't bet anything here. Let's do a little update because I believe the Twins have 10 runs. It's 10-6 Minnesota. You know, these live forever, right? I'm going to know exactly who you are. And I have a particular set of skills. Oh, shit. This turned off behind me. Anyway, we'll get that locked and loaded for the next game. But as we talk about this one, Caesar Sportsbook can take a nap. We've got Cleveland. We've got Minnesota. We've got my guy, Pablo Lopez, against my guy, Gavin Williams. I'm conflicted. What do? I love Gavin Williams. I love the fastball. I love the 3.52 ERA. He's 1-5 on the season, but that's because Cleveland's lineup is a big heap of you-know-what outside of Jose Ramirez. It's just not good. It's really bad. So there's that. But Gavin Williams throws tons of fastballs. I said it was going to play at a big league level immediately. It did. I feel smart sometimes. Don't talk to me about the things I get wrong. It's too long of a list. So we'll just take the W on this one and move on. 9.7% walk rate. Needs to improve that, but one of the things that I have at least optimism for it, well, not necessarily because I am a Twins fan, that's how this works, is that you go up against Gavin Williams. He's got just a 168 expected ISO despite the 209 ISO against lefties, and then he's awesome against righties, 119 expected ISO. So overall, decent enough spot here, but like Pablo Lopez is way better. 33.4% K rate against righties, 25% K rate against lefties, 130 and 136 expected ISO respectively against those handedness. He's just got great numbers all the way around. No way around it. 276 xWOBA, 29.3% K rate. These are elite numbers. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. But I can't bet him at this price. I just can't because it's Gavin Williams, my guy, plus 152. I can't fire up Cleveland, minus 170. That's about perfectly efficient. Minus 175 is where I have this break even at. But like, I'm not going to bet a 5-cent difference. Just not here. Oh, it sucks. It's just 1% expected ROI. That'd be really fun to fire those up every day. We'd get a little nauseous with how many bets we'd fire up if that were the case. But friends, here's what I said. Put yourself on Paw Patrol. Yeah, some of you guys have kids. Paw Patrol, it's a thing. You have those little dogs and they fly in. Kind of weird. Like eyepieces. They're like shooting lasers or something. Maybe I just made that up in my head, but Minnesota money line, that's going to be a lean, but I'm putting you on Prop Patrol. Producer Jacob didn't even type it in the corner. I'm mad. I would like to rescind any kind of I almost said condensation. Condescension. There we are. There's the word of the day. Condescension that I was giving to producer Jacob. We don't have the rights to Paw Patrol. That's what I just found out. The things you learn, the more you know. NBC. Y'all know. The real ones know. CITY. You can see why these guys, the C-wise, rolling the streetwise or something like that. City guys. Saturday mornings. They play basketball. Anyway, San Diego Padres, St. Louis Cardinals. Can you tell I didn't have much to do in South Dakota growing up? Seth Lugo, besides watch sports and play sports. Seth Lugo on the mound for San Diego Padres. Zach Thompson. I don't even want to talk about this game. I don't want to go remotely close to this game. I don't even want to discuss. I mean, the Padres couldn't score against Adam Wainwright. I told you. That was not going to happen. Let me double check, make sure that remained true. What is the score of that game? It's 1-0 San Diego. So I guess they got on the board. Yay! Gold star for the day against the worst pitcher in baseball. Actually, second worst. Alek Manoah is awful. He's not even in the league at the moment. But anyway, San Diego Padres here. Seth Lugo on the mound. Not going to be a very enticing back for anybody involved. You go through some of his numbers and he's still Seth Lugo. That didn't change. 42.1% hard hit percentage, 416 expected slugging, 5.5% walk rate with an 8.2% barrel percentage. Just mediocre. Maybe if I say it again like that, it'll just, nope, mediocre. Zach Thompson on the other side, worse than, well, he's okay. 44.7% hard hit percentage isn't really there, but very small sample size that we have on him throughout this entire season. St. Louis, they're just chilling. They're going to go to Cabo in a month. It'll be fine. Their lives are fine. Nolan Arenado, you got the bag, bro. You're fine. Paul Goldschmidt, you're fine. City of St. Louis, you're not north of like where it's really going to get cold. And you can watch, well, you don't have a football team. That's a problem. You can watch old Kurt Warner highlights to bide your time during the NFL. How's that sound? Oh, yeah. Marshall Faulk season. Was it Bruce Irvin's season? It was Bruce Irvin's season. I think those were all those seasons. It was definitely Marshall Faulk and Kurt Warner. Those are good days. Yeah, we're not going to bet anything here on Tuesday. Over 9. Again, a lot of totals that kind of stick out to me. I have 4 other of them that you can choose from. This is not one of them. Here is a total I can get behind, and it makes me sick to my stomach. Corbin Burns versus Justin Steele. The man of steel against Corbin Cy Burns. Oh, hey, Mr. Cy Burns. Can I have some of that milk? I'd rather have a beer. Name that movie in the comment section below. Of course you know that movie. Don't. Go ahead. Put it down there. 3, 2. I'm not even going to say it. It doesn't matter. And I can't count to 3 because now I'm feeling nervous. Anyway, Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns, 33.2% hard hit percentage, 336 expected slugging with a 25% K rate, 5.5% barrel percentage, limits contact, and strikes out dudes. And has started to fix that walk problem that kind of plagued him at the beginning of the season. So, like, Cutter's back to being the cutter. 54.7% usage, and nobody can hit it, so that's fun. Justin Steele on the other side, though, we're not going to go pick on him. 4-seamer slider. He throws 2 pitches, and nobody can really get a hold of them. 35.7% hard hit percentage, 290 xWOBA, and a 5.2% walk rate. So he doesn't walk people nearly as much as Burns, and he's only about, 1.7% difference in terms of K rate, 23.2%. Oh, boy. And the wind's not blowing out. It's going across. That's the projection for it. Oh, boy. See what I'm getting at? Under 7. I like the under a lot. As long as the bullpens aren't completely tagged here by the time you get this, and I will update you on Twitter if something like that were to happen, where Milwaukee and Chicago, they get into a duel, it goes 11 innings, something like that. Also, we haven't had a game go to like 14 or 15 innings forever. I think that's probably a good thing. Probably a good thing. We don't need more baseball is what I'm getting at. Under 7. I like it. Let's go. 5 games to go. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell as we go to probably one of the wonkier spots, I believe, on this slate. On one side, Pittsburgh. We're not going to be able to even talk about Pittsburgh because we don't have a projected starter for Pittsburgh, although I expect it to be Luis Ortiz, who pitched on the 23rd, came back after a month and a half away. He got another shot to try to fix things here, and well, it's been bad. 5.37 ERA, 1.84 whip. So we're not even going to deal with that because we don't have a line. I'm assuming it's Luis Ortiz who pitched on the 23rd, but we shall wait and see. If you want to know about this game, which for whatever reason, other than there's no other reason that you should be thinking about this game other than betting. It's a fact. If you're not betting on this game, if you're going to this game to like, well, I guess I could go to Kansas City and just have a beer and sit in the stands. You could also do it at home and watch like actual good baseball. But maybe your boss gave you tickets. Then you should go. Just gotta be smart. Gotta make sure. Don't bite the hand that feeds. But hot dogs are probably really expensive even in Kansas City. I know they are in Minnesota. I don't live in Minnesota, but I go to Minnesota a lot. Anyway, Caesar Sportsbook friends, we got Kansas City here. I think Cole Ragans is going to be somebody that I want to attach to the money line from Kansas City side if it's Luis Ortiz, and I'm getting that projected number. But Cole Ragans, where is this coming from, guys? I don't know, but I'm willing to find out with 6 strikeouts here, a 28.7% K rate, and a 4-seamer changeup. The guy was out of the league. The guy was done. He was done. 4.78 expected ERA. Nobody really wanted him, and now he's just found a way to turn it on. He's only 25. He's a southpaw. Maybe we are starting to see this massive emergence. Fastball spin way up. Just 50 RPMs from last year to this year seems pretty good. Changeup's down a little bit in terms of spin. So again, we can't just like extrapolate the data, but it seems as though that changeup is a completely different pitch this year than what he threw last year. Even though I don't think it is. It kind of has to be. It's just so weird. Where did these Ks come from? Now he gets Pittsburgh? He gets Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. 23.4% K rate against lefties. I was stalling because my spreadsheet wasn't loading. 89 WRC plus. Cole Ragans up to 6Ks. Might be attaching that to the Kansas City money line. We shall wait and see. Again, this line opens at 6.5. I don't even really know what to do with it. It's probably going to open at 6.5, and I won't know what to believe anymore. One more prop. We talked about Stanton. Let's talk about another guy who just murders a certain handedness. Well, actually, he murders everybody because he's a certified killer. We're going to Coors Field, baby, where, yeah, another 12 total that we're staring at here. It was at 12.5. It moved down slightly, but yeah, you were paying a little extra juice from that. Posted the 12.5. I ended up on 12.5 and 12. A lot of people in the premium Discord because they didn't bet it early, even though I'm telling them to bet early. Can we bet early? We have to bet early, except for when I get stuff wrong like yesterday. With this total, not a lot of other stuff wrong. I hope games are going right now. But Charlie Morton going up against Peter Lambert. And Peter Lambert, we'll talk about in a second. But first, Morton for you. 330 xWOBA, 250 expected batting average, 25.5% K rate. Yay, 10.9% walk rate. Oh, no. Those are problems. Some interesting stuff. It's a really good spot against this lineup. It's a really bad spot because of the ballpark. You're in Coors Field. Heard there's runs scored there. That's the rumor. Rumor has it. We're not going to sing Adele. We're really not going to. I refuse to sing Adele. Unless I can find someone like you. That is Mr. Peter Lambert, who I believe wishes nothing for the best for Matt Olson. 44.8% hard hit percentage, 346 xWOBA for Peter Lambert, and he just happens to be right-handed. You know who hits a lot of home runs against right-handed pitchers. I already said his name, so I guess that breaks the illusion. Matt Olson. Matt Olson in that 40 club there with Shohei Ohtani up there just whacking baseballs really, really far. And you look at Peter Lambert against lefties, nearly a 200 expected ISO, actually has a higher expected ISO, 243 against righties, which is fascinating. But Matt Olson, 313 expected ISO with a 17-degree average launch angle and 34 home runs against righties. Gonna make it 35 unless he hits one today, in which case he'll hit 36, in which case he hits two. It would be 37. Look at that. I can count. Matt Olson, better than plus 235. Look at that. Fix the sheet. Plus 235 to go yard. If it's better than that, fire it up. Oh, God. We're in T-Mobile, which generally means I have to bring up how not run-friendly it is, how insane it is that some of these totals get posted, and how I don't really understand what we're doing here, and I always end up betting unders. I always end up locking something in this game, and then producer Jacob gives me shit. He's like, Eric, you always end up locking something in T-Mobile. Eric, why do you always bet T-Mobile? Because I win money here is why. Because I'm good at assessing when numbers are off in certain ballparks, and here is a broken number. It is broken. It is broken like, that's really sad. We're not going to go down that route. We're going to talk about Ken Waldichuk, which I'm gotta bring it up because by law I have to say these things. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a Waldichuk could chuck wood? The answer, a ton. He's gonna break a lot of wood. Good. Whoa. Put my thing down, zip it, reverse it. Ken Waldichuk, 342 xWOBA, 435 expected slugging, 11.6% walk rate. This lefty is no good. He is hot trash, friends. Really bad. In Seattle, they've been really, really, really good. 108 WRC plus now against lefties. Yeah, they strike out a lot. 26.4%, but 153 ISO. That's also not ideal. But they've had an unbelievable second half of the season. That doesn't surprise anybody here. But what surprises me for this situation is that Oakland is getting no love to succeed whatsoever against George Kirby. And I get it. George Kirby, 3.28 ERA, 1.03 whip. Those are fantastic numbers. He's also pitching at home where he has a 0.89 whip and a 2.87 ERA. Again, the ballpark where he's really, really good at preventing runs. So what is it that I am looking at that has me going crazy for trying to invest in the over of this spot? Well, most of it relies on the shoulders of Seattle getting after Ken Waldichuk. There's no doubt about it. But you've got a guy in George Kirby who's not really going to blow you away with strikeout stuff. He also has a 185 expected ISO against lefties. I expect at least 5 lefties in this lineup yet again for Oakland, just like they were for Brian Wu in that previous spot. And overall, yes, Oakland has been much better against lefties than against righties because, well, against lefties, they're not at the very bottom of the dweller. They're a 91 WRC plus against lefties. Against righties, it's been a whole lot worse, 88 WRC plus, but that takes into account a lot of bats that aren't there and a lot of bats that have been improved by the existence of a Zach Geloff who just got called up. Ryan Noda's back with a 46% hard hit percentage and a 349 xWOBA. Brent Rooker has that ability to loft the baseball. And as I look at the ballpark here in Seattle, at least home runs are relatively neutral. If they weren't, I would not be touching this. But because they are, and if you put George Kirby into the bucket of guys who can run into a strikeout into a solo shot or two, he has a 12.6 degree average launch angle on those batted balls in play. Just a 22.8% whip percentage and a 420 expected slugging. Those are not elite pitcher numbers, despite what the ERA and whip will tell you. So, my favorite play of the entire day, the over of 7.5. And to boot with that, friends, and to boot with it, we're getting ourselves a little bit of love here. Minus 110 at FanDuel Sportsbook as opposed to minus 125 over at DraftKings. When you run into a 15-cent disparity on something, a 15-cent disparity between two prominent books, give me that over 7.5. Unit and a half. We're firing this one to the moon, friends. Best of luck to me. Knots in the moon. Shout out the mummy. It's Brandon Williamson. It's Alex Cobb. I don't want to bet this game. Don't bet this game. Everything's perfectly efficient. Just believe me. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Cincinnati money line just going to be a lean. We go to the last game of the night. And we have the Dodgers. We have the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm really looking forward to this one for a lot of different reasons. One, Merrill Kelly just came off of his best outing as a big leaguer, and I have been high on this stock. I've been high on my own supply for quite some time in Merrill Kelly world because this guy, I knew he had it in him, but it was awesome to lock Arizona and to get the W with it. 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, 12 strikeouts. Did Arizona still make us sweat for it because Paul Sewald is just pain and suffering personified? Sure, that had to happen. But nothing worth having comes easy. Nothing worth having comes easy. Like Clayton Kershaw's back. It has not been an easy road for him, but he continues to thrive, to overcome, to crush at the big league level. 2.52 ERA, 1.02 whip. And yeah, we saw him pitch just 33 pitches in his last start because there was a rain deal and it was bad in Cleveland. And yeah, the weather kind of just came from nowhere. It did. Hopefully you didn't bet the over. It was K props. That would have been heartbreaking. 2 innings, 4 strikeouts, game over, and props count in that regard because it got suspended to the next day and the game got finished. My nose itched. Anywho, we are looking at an opportunity for 2 great pitchers to get on the mound, and yet it's going to be 98 degrees in Los Angeles. 92 at first pitch here of this game. That is a pretty nice stadium to be getting some heat and everything rocking. And coming off of Merrill Kelly's ridiculous performance, the regression bug can be in store. And also, I love you, Merrill Kelly. A little bit different facing the Cincinnati Reds in Arizona in a decent ballpark for, being able to keep it in the yard. And then facing the Los Angeles freaking Dodgers in Dodger Stadium. Just throwing it out there. One is not like the other. And Clayton Kershaw, I don't know what to make of pitch counts, but I do know that they're going to be very, very cautious with him. In Arizona, they're out there trying to win ball games nonstop, no doubt about it, put themselves back into the hunt here in the NL with a nice couple of weeks here, last week and a half or so for them. So I'm looking forward to this game from a real life perspective, but I'm also looking forward to runs being scored here. I have this around 9.3 runs. Kershaw has been awesome. Merrill Kelly, my guy. And yet I like, yes, a half unit play on the over of this one. A lot of sacrilegious mean stuff where I'm going against certain guys, but I hope that reiterates to you that you can have your favorite players, you can have your favorite type of bets, but go by the numbers. And the numbers tell me over 8.5, a good spot to be invested here, specifically because we're getting plus 105 at Caesars Sportsbook. Yes, can I say that one more time? Caesars Sportsbook plus 105. If that weren't the case, that would not be a play. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know. Light it. Just put nuts in here. I'm going to have a blackout curtain hanging up here in the next day or two. Looking forward to that. It's coming together now. Birds of a feather now. Check out $50 over at Caesars Sportsbook. Hey, that over of 8.5 plus 105 on Dodgers, Arizona looks really good over there. Minus 105 almost everywhere else that I'm looking. So take advantage of that. You bet $50 on anything over there. Get yourself $50 free bets that you're getting back there in weekly bonus bets from Caesars Sportsbook. Great deal from them, but only do it if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you, producer Jacob. Yet another day in the books. 14 games on Monday, 15 games on Tuesday, Wednesday, only 4 baseball games. It's Maction, baby. Make sure you pay attention to Mr. Ben Raza with all the college football goodness as we approach Wednesday, into the weekend, into everything. Go State. Iowa State's going to be terrible this year. It's not really. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Tuesday.